Hello guys, you're tuning on Yes Whut. I'm your Yes Stylist host, Zoe.
And I'm Yes Style's content editor, Angela.
Angela, did you know that April is Stress Awareness Month?
No, what is that?
Because I didn't know about it.
I don't know about it either.
I found out about it recently, so I decided to kind of like invite you over so we can talk about stress awareness. Like what on earth is it?
I'm curious about it too.
According to my research, really brief research about Stress Awareness Month, so April has been celebrated as Stress Awareness Month since 1992. So originally it was kind of established by an organisation that wanted to help with people to relieve workplace stress. But like later on it kind of became broad, like just general stress itself, because I mean stress comes in all forms. It doesn't have to just be work, it can be like other stuff. Because personally, I think from my impression of you, you strike me as quite a calm person in the office, because I mean, you're usually quite quiet and you just get on with your work.
Yes, I am absorbed in my work, and so everything zones out. That might look calming to other people. But I deal with workplace stress just like everybody else. But I feel like that's low dose, everyday, manageable stress that you get through your day to meet your tasks, to meet your deadlines, and that fuels my day.
Fuels your day.
Yes.
So it's like it's the kind of
It's like a pressure that motivates you, focuses you, gets me productive, and gets me to do my tasks to get them done in time. But they are not the stresses that I am mindful of. It's the big stresses that potentially capsize my life, and they affect my normal routine. They affect the way I eat, the way that I sleep, the way I think, like anything that disrupts my normal routines. Those are the ones that are big stresses that are weighing on my life. They're the ones I have to watch out for.
So with that kind of stress, do you experience it daily, or is it more like an occasional thing, just depending on the
Lately it's been quite regularly. In the pandemic, everything gets disrupted. Your normal routines are disrupted. Like, it's chronic in the last 2.5 years. So I would say that's definitely a stress.
That's more stressful to you.
That is much more stressful. That's eclipsed my work stress, because it's kind of things that affects your day-to-day. More recently, there was a lot of panic buying, going to the supermarket, trying to make sure that I get everything, but nothing's there because everything is store shelves empty. Yeah, just little things that are affecting me in my regular day in life, because I can't get what I want, I get stressful. Also, it's very difficult to plan ahead when there's all these changes happening because of the pandemic.
So it's more like it's disrupting your
It's disrupting my routines, and that's what stresses me out, because there's this bit of transition that you have to keep improvising, and sometimes that takes energy, and sometimes that's exhausting.
It's very exhausting.
Yeah.
Because you have to adapt, and you'll be like, what should I do? You have to problem solve your daily issues.
Exactly, and it's something chronic now because of the pandemic. Yeah, so that's definitely one of them.
I think I'm on a very similar wavelength. Like I'm often in denial of my daily stresses. Like I try to suppress it, like saying I'm not stressed, or it doesn't really bother me. But actually when things doesn't go as planned, or like, my regular routines get disrupted similarly, I feel, it kind of like accumulates. And then like until it reaches a certain level that my body and my mental health can't handle it, and then I just be like, oh my God, I'm so effing stressed. And then I'll break. I don't really break down, but like I will actually express my stress, like I'll exert it. Like, so people can see it and feel that I'm very stressed. But usually I try and suppress it. But I think I really hate that feeling.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think because I hate it so much, I try so hard to suppress it.
This is why I have to get it out of my system.
Get it out.
I meet you girls at lunch, get it out of my chest.
Oh yeah, sometimes I feel like talking.
I get tea breaks. I'm like, I'm gonna have my tea now. I'm going to the pantry and have my tea.
Have your tea.
Yes.
So again, like with personal stress, it's just that like I feel, it's the unpredictability that I feel very stressed of, like it stresses me out. So for example, even if it's just like regular house chores, if I have this really set procedure of how, like, or set order of doing things like, if I'm washing my clothes, I put in this first, I do that first. But if that order is disrupted, actually even small things like that will really agitate me. So again, I think maybe I'm a bit OCD about like order. Maybe that's why. Like I think even with work, suddenly you get given this new project or this new changes at work, and then that's my kind of workplace stress. But I think all my stresses are kind of interlinked. It's the same kind of type of stress because it's just unpredictability. Like, what about your other sources of stress?
My other sources of stress is personal relationships. So it could be like conflict with my family. There's multi-general issues. We have misunderstandings. So there's a lot of miscommunication. That stresses me out. There's negative vibes from other people that surprises me. It could be just regular interactions outside with strangers, or it could be personal relationships. Yeah, like at the minibus or transport, where somebody's being rude, or it could be just people who are negative suddenly because they're just taking it out on you because they're not aware of their behavior.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I feel you.
So it's like it could be personal relationships. I just don't want to face that negativity, but I can't help that sometimes it sinks in.
Yeah.
And so
that does affect you.
Yes,
like, you know,
yes.
When
I'm sensitive. I'm like a sponge. I absorb people's vibes. So those negative vibes do affect me.
I have a very similar issue like previously. Like, you know, if I hang out with certain friends who were going through quite a negative stage in life, like even though I try to like, you know, cheer them up and stuff, it doesn't really work, and they just keep going back into that vicious cycle. Yes. But then they keep moaning and they keep complaining to you, and then you be like, I don't want to absorb this, but because
it infects you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
It's like if they're miserable, everyone else is miserable. But that's life. Like, not everyone has the awareness to stop their behavior, and so you have to have your own tools and strategies to kind of go, that's not my stuff.
Yeah.
So I need to protect my vibe.
True. And then what else do you think affects your stress levels, like apart from, you know, interactions and stuff? Anything that, like maybe sleep quality?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So my terrible habit is I go on my phone and I scroll, I doom scroll.
I'm sure
so I see
a lot of
all
people
the,
are guilty of
especially late at night.
Yeah.
I see these horrible headlines about conflicts going on around the world.
Do you have to read that before you sleep?
It's like, oh no, and then I lose sleep, I lose hours. And so that's why I shouldn't do that. But doom scrolling on social media is a really bad habit of mine and does stress me.
It's the blue light from your phone.
Yeah, it affects your sleep.
Yeah, it makes it harder for you to fall asleep.
Absolutely.
Just stop doing that. Like,
I
maybe
should.
give yourself like a 10-minute break before you go to bed.
I should. iPhone addict.
Phone addict?
Phone addict. It's a real problem.
But people said like sleep quality is often affected by other sources as well. Like, you know, maybe it's the daily stress that accumulates, and then like you didn't realize, you know, you were that stressed. But like before you go to bed, things start sinking in. You know, I don't know if it's just like me or some.
No, I'm the same. Like this is a real head job. There's too much going on in there, so you're trying to wind down and sleep, and it's hard.
Just before you go to bed, you'll realize you'll start like overthinking about things.
Definitely.
I don't know why we
just like you.
Why do we do that? Just go to bed, hop to bed and sleep. Like, you know, you shouldn't be thinking about anything.
That's true. That's true.
It's funny how we talked about different types of stress, but actually, when I did brief research on different types of stress, it came down to two main types. You know, there is distress, which is the negative type of stress, and then there's eustress, the positive type of stress. So let me just briefly talk about the differences, because I think basically you kind of mentioned it briefly, like, you know, the kind of stress that motivates you.
Yes.
That's basically eustress. Like, it makes you feel excited, helps you motivate you, focuses on energy, improves your performance, and it has a short-term effect, and it's definitely a much more manageable type of stress. Whereas distress is the kind that, you know, I'm sure we're all familiar with. It's the type that makes you feel unpleasant, it decreases your motivation, and it can have short-term to long-term effects, I think. That's what we mentioned, like, you know, accumulate, and then like, it affects the sleep quality, or if you're stressed too much. And actually, it's usually distress, the kind of negative stress that causes anxiety and any other, like, sort of stress-related sort of symptoms. So yeah, but I think generally, do you find yourself in a state of eustress or distress more, like on a day-to-day basis? Just like a quick thought.
Well, for day-to-day stuff, I can manage quite well. It's the other personal stuff that I have to watch out for, because I don't want it to capsize my life, where it affects my ability to eat, sleep, think, and so those are the big stresses that I have to really watch out for. because I don't want it to impact me. And sometimes it doesn't impact me just mentally, but physically too. Like I lose my appetite, or I can't sleep, or my skin gets really bad, or whatnot. And so those are the kind of stresses, whether it's the personal relationships, where I'm dealing with changes going on with anti-epidemic measures associated with this health crisis, or it could be just, you know, day-to-day stress, chronic stress, relationships that have negative vibes from other people. It's the whole gamut of stress that comes with living in a city like Hong Kong, I guess.
Oh my God, yeah. I think it's specifically like a city issue.
Yes, yes. There's just urban stress. Like
urban stress?
I call it urban
First
stress.
world problems.
It is, because you know, where costs are going up, or there's a lot of crowds, so that stressed you out, or you go to shopping and, you know, it's just typical stuff that you get from living in a city.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know how back in the days, not back in the days, I mean like...
How old are you? Aren't you Gen Z?
No, I'm a millennial.
You're a millennial. Oh, okay.
Aren't you a millennial? I think.
I'm a geriatric millennial.
Yes, that's what my sister says all the time. She keeps saying, I'm a geriatric millennial.
Yeah.
It's fine, we're still millennials. Anyway, but you know, not back in the days, okay, a couple of years ago when we were able to travel. I feel like traveling is one way to kind of like cope with stress. You know how like, you know, you stuck at work, things pile up, and you just, I just need a break. It's that kind of feeling. So apart from that, what else do you do to kind of like relieve your stress levels?
So I exercise every weekend. I go.
Really? I thought you'd do it more often.
I do on the weekday if I have time. Then I squeeze in a walk to the park near my place. In Kings Park. If it's, I could do a quick walk to the park. But if it's on a weekend where I do hiking, it takes 2-3 hours out of my day. So I can only do it on a weekend. So I usually go for a hiking trail, and it really gives me the reset that I want, but it also makes me want in nature, because whatever is going on in your fast-paced urban life, that gets shifted into the rhythm of nature.
Yeah, and then you hear some
birds, and there's greenery,
greenery,
and everything's simple and beautiful, and that just changes your thinking. It shifts you away from that, and because you're also doing physical movement, you're shifting away from whatever bad feelings or stresses you're going through. By the end of it, you got your physical endorphins, and everything feels just really good because you just had a great physical achievement. You hiked, came home, showered, ate food, everything feels good. It's like a reset.
So that's like a weekly reset for you.
It's been really, really important to me, and I've been hiking since I was in primary school, a teenager.
Wow.
Like my family, my parents are regular hikers, typical Korean stereotype. They go hiking multiple times a week to this day.
So healthy.
Yeah, and so fitness has always been part of my life. It's who I am, and that makes a huge, huge difference to my mental health.
That's great.
And the other stuff I do is more simple stuff. I love stand-up comedy.
A good laugh.
A good laugh.
Helps everything.
Yeah, you know, comedy
laugh.
routines. I go on YouTube and go watch my favorite stand-up routines. I'm a 90s girl, so I watch rom-coms and
Oh my
90s
God.
actions. You just a little escapism from 90s action movie, anything from Keanu Reeves.
So it's just a bit of like escapism.
Escapism or rom-coms, because everything's light and fluffy.
Like,
Yeah.
That's true, nothing too stressful.
It's not stressful when you watch a rom-com,
Yeah.
you know?
Whereas
so
if you watch
it's
like a thriller, you'd be like, oh, I don't want to.
Yes,
this.
yes.
Or horror
It's
movie, oh, I
all
don't want to.
uplifting, fluffy, and there's always a happy ending in the end.
True, it's like a feel good.
It's really sugary.
movie,
It's like the movie version of having cotton candy or something, you know?
Without intaking that much.
Yeah, that's right. So I do that, and at night I do journal. If it's really heavy, I try to get it out of my system. So I've been journaling since I was a teenager, but not regularly, sporadically. And then what I do is it's so nice to get it out of my chest and have it on paper, and then shutting it and putting it away.
Sometimes you want to revisit it.
Yeah.
And then when you revisit, you go, oh my God, why was I that stressed?
Exactly. Just getting it out of my sense of journaling helps. Because all those yoga studios are closed, if I can't do yoga, then I do Zoom yoga.
Zoom yoga. Usually how many people are in a session? Because I've never done Zoom.
Well, it depends. So I've done, the morning meditations are really, I do meditation and yoga. The meditation one, there's like hundreds of people.
Meditation?
Yeah.
Do you
in the
see all of them
morning.
or just the instructor?
You see the text of all the people saying morning, 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 morning.
Oh, it's like a
So
street.
and then the guy, the teacher is saying, oh wow, there's like 600 people that signed in, not just in Hong Kong. You know?
Amazing.
And then other classes like I did was yoga, Zoom at, it was a lunchtime session. It was only about a few dozen people. So it really varies.
How long is a lunchtime session?
Oh, lunchtime, it was like 45 minutes.
You can definitely fix. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely squeeze
or
that in a
yeah, you can do a lunchtime yoga session or do a morning meditation. That sets my day, so that really helps.
Meditation. I've heard like many great things about meditation.
Love it.
But I've never really tried proper meditation because I feel like I'm the kind of people who thinks it's too much have too much unnecessary.
I have a great advice. Like if
Yeah.
you're not good at doing meditation, you're a beginner, then have you ever tried a gong bath? Because the sound puts you in that place.
A sound bath. I did a sound bath.
So
I fell
you
asleep
know,
halfway.
yes, but it works because if you can't do it, the sound, you get immersed and you can't help but go into that place.
That's true. That's true.
Yes, it does all the job for you in a way. Yeah. Whereas with the meditation, she does have these singing bowls to keep you in this, creates a really nice serene vibe.
Very therapeutic.
It is, and we do a lot of breathing exercises, and she calls it the shower for the mind. I'll steal
Shower
that.
for the mind.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a good
so it's a
quote.
really great way to slow down, reset your mind, not think too much, and that's what it
true. I
does.
do think like occasionally we should have a kind of weekly or even like you know, just a reset as you mentioned. Because for me it's like I think like I started exercising a bit more. I started like doing a bit more now that like since we had to work from home.
What kind?
Yeah. Well, right now I'm trying to fit in like a 45-minute HIIT section, or like what are they called? It's kind of like a very soft core cardio. So it's not as intensive as running because I hate running. I hate so much. But it's more like you jog on the spot. Not really jog. It's more like you walking, but in between the walks, like in between like every 40 seconds, you have to fit in like a quick full body exercise. So it's quite enjoyable actually. I find it a lot less stressful than me running on the street because like that really stressed me out. I'm like very paranoid about running on the street. I'm like, what if I trip? I did it once. And then, but like I think I do agree that exercising has that kind of sense of euphoria.
Definitely.
Like after a good sweat out session, like after you break in a good sweat, you do feel like, oh my god, I feel like I'm a lot lighter, like mentally and physically in a better shape and a better place, I guess.
It is. It's all those rush of endorphins.
Yeah.
And
So
it just feels great.
Doing it like I think I try to do it every day now because I think it really helps with me manage like my daily stress. Because every time I open my email inbox, I'm like, oh god. Emails.
Okay.
And then I'm like, oh, I have a deadline tomorrow because something's really last minute.
Yes, deadlines. Yes, that's definitely a crushing deadline.
I feel like daily exercise is super helpful because I only just started doing it like 2 months ago. Ever since we worked from home full time, and then apart from that, it's I actually take. I think the biggest part of my rephrase myself. I think like what I tend to do on a daily basis to also help me like reset and de-stress is my evening skincare routine.
Really? What does that entail?
Because usually like I think in comparison to a regular morning skincare routine, like mornings are more rushed. It's usually quicker. Like even though if I'm working from home, I'll just like wash my face, I'll put on a toner, and I'll be like, okay, maybe like a quick spray of whatever, and then I'll just work. But with evening skincare routine, it's that you have a lot more time to wind down. You can take it step by step. It's more like, I used to like take regular evening baths, but because I don't have a bathtub in Hong Kong anymore.
But showering and bathing does help.
Yes, so
like, you're completely lost in it.
After a good shower, I will have usually like I do my double cleansing before shower. And then after shower, I have this third step, which is like a gentle exfoliation. So it's like stuff I reviewed for on the blog, but some stuff I really liked it, I really liked it, and then I kept it in my routine. So right now, after a shower, I would use this like gentle exfoliating pad, which has like PHA, so it's like very gentle for sensitive skin, and it helps. It's basically like a third cleansing step. So every time I put it on, I quickly rinse it off. My face just feels so fresh and so clean. I feel like, oh my god, all the dirt and stress is washed off. And then like I'm super into mixing toners and serums. It's like I feel like a chemist sometimes. I'm like, oh my, let me mix like 2 different things. Like, yeah. So like it really, I feel like each step helps me unwind a little bit more.
Because you're pampering and taking care of yourself.
And whereas I feel like I don't have the time during the day to indulge in this, but like in the evening I'm like, okay, I slowly unwind, and then like I'll get through to like, you know, mixing serums, and then I'll get through to like maybe putting on pre-moisturizer, and then like, okay, eye cream. I do it like I don't do it like all in one go. I kind of put in a step and then I'll go and do something else, and then I'll do something, and then I'll put another step and then I'll go do something else. And then until like I get to the eye cream stage, and I'll be like, okay, put my hand cream on, put my foot cream on, I'll hop to bed.
Wow.
I'll be fully relaxed by the time I've got to my final steps. So that's why I enjoy my evening skincare routine. It's something that people can't take away from me at the moment, because it's my only source of like de-stressing.
Yes, definitely. Your own little spa.
Totally. Before we end our session today, we've prepared a quiz. I know, I wanted the surprise element. I want to catch the...
I am surprised.
Okay, the surprise element actually comes after. I believe usually, you know, when you... I don't know if it's like a generic thing. It's like before you take a quiz, you have this expectation of what your results might be. And then after the quiz, you'll be like, you'll be shocked half the time, because the results often are quite different from what you expected. So this is what I wanted to kind of capture. So the quiz we're doing today is understanding your current level of stress. Is that the question? Yeah, so it's like we'll get a stress score. So before we start, like, you know, how, like right now the score is 0 to 40. What is, yeah, oh, it keeps moving. So yeah, so how do you think you'll like rate us, how you'll get, how high do you think you'll be on the scale?
Probably moderate.
Moderate. I guess that's kind of healthy, you know, moderate, like orange. I don't think we're on a blue.
No.
I feel like we have too much daily stress. We're not quite zen yet. Maybe after more meditation.
Maybe after this pandemic's over, we'll go back down to the blue
like
section.
Someone we know very dearly is often on the scale.
Wow.
Yeah, someone sit very close by to you.
I think you would know if somebody was in that red zone.
I think we know who she is. Okay, so let's begin. Actually, we can have it record as we play. So get your stress score. So the first question is...
Do I click get your stress score?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay. So the first question is, in the last month, how often have you been upset because of something that happened unexpectedly?
Oh gosh.
Never, almost never, sometimes, fairly often, or very often. Oh God, let me think.
Very often.
In last month.
Yes.
How often have you been upset? I mean...
Quite fairly often. We're doing this in the middle of a health crisis.
Yeah, very often.
I'm clicking very
Maybe
often.
I'm more stressed than I imagined.
Yes.
And the second question. In the last month, how often have you felt that you were unable to control important things in your life? Yeah.
Yes. Fairly often. Remember, we're in a health crisis.
Yeah. Why is everything in the last month? It's quite
Yes.
in the
That's
last
right.
month. How often have you felt nervous and stressed?
I feel nervous right now.
Oh, wow, it's very chill.
Not really.
Oh God, maybe I am more stressed than I expected.
Sometimes.
So next one, how often have you felt confident about your ability to handle your personal problems? Okay. Okay, what in the last month again? How often have you felt that things were going your way?
Oh.
Okay. Next one, how often have you found that you could not cope with all the things you had to do?
Oh, it said the word all.
All the things.
All the things. Everything going on.
Okay. Okay. How often have you been able to control irritations in your life?
Irritations.
Like all kinds? Like not just physical?
Skin irritations or just irritations to do with your personal?
I think all of them.
Oh.
Right? Skin irritation is very difficult, you know, you can't really control it. I mean, it's spring, so it's pretty humid.
That's true.
It's control irritation. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I'll put that. Next one. 2 more questions, okay. How often have you felt that you were on top of things?
Oh, sometimes.
Okay. Okay. The 9th question. How often have you been angered because of things that happened that were out of your control? Oh my god.
Often.
I think it depends if it's like, things that are out of control. Like, as if, I'm waiting for confirmation via email.
Okay.
But like, if that person chooses not to reply me back, for days, and I'm like, oh, no stress, it's not my problem. I think it depends on the type of, thing that
Definitely.
is, right?
To me, it's like everything. Everything. Living in Hong Kong, how do you control absolutely everything happening in the city?
You really can't.
Yeah.
I think the only parts that we can manage is like our day-to-day.
Exactly.
And even if that's out of control, then I guess that's what we mentioned earlier.
Exactly.
Super stressed. The last question. In the last month, how often have you felt difficulties were piling up so high that you could not overcome them?
Wow.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
a deep question.
What is the stress score?
22.
23!
Oh
my god!
We're
not
almost similar level of stress.
We're not too stressed.
Not too stressed, but there's definitely some. But it's kind of manageable. It's not in the red zone.
Yeah,
It's not an alarming level.
Let me go down. Like, apparently say on average, people who complete the Be Mindful course reduce their stress. Oh, it's selling me a course.
Oh, really? Oh.
I thought,
we know.
at first I thought, on average, how many people is rated? Like, how often are people score? What's the average score? That's what I wonder. But I think it depends on the city. If it's Hong Kong, I'm sure
Definitely.
it's
like
closer
if we
to the
were
spectrum.
out and living in a bucolic area or somewhere on the beach, I
yeah.
think the score would be very different.
Yeah, if I live in a countryside, maybe I'm be like, oh, no
Exactly.
stress. Maybe the only stress comes from mosquitoes.
Definitely.
So, yeah, that's really fun.
Yeah.
Share this quiz over to more people. Okay, thank you so much for your time, Angela.
No
It's been a
worries.
pleasure.
It's been great chatting with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel and turn on your notifications. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.